Hello, everybody. How are you? Thank you so much for being with us again. Today, we have with us Ms. Tin Mei Yen, who is a dietitian from Columbia Asia Hospital, Klang, and she will be talking to us about dietary habits that we are now practicing in our homes. Okay, I'm not sure what it is for you, but then for me and for most of the people I know, what we do because we are bored and we are stressed out at home. Sometimes, parents, they teach their children and then they cannot take it, and then they go to the kitchen and they open their fridge, they eat ice cream or chocolates and whatnot. So the chance is very real. And at first, we may laugh at it and make jokes about it, but sooner or later, at the end of MCO, possibly there would have been some weight gain. So this could be very distressing. Can you explain to us any reason why we are doing that right now?
Hello everyone, good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to Miss Sakina and all my audience over there. Today, actually, it is my pleasure that being invited to share some tips with every one of you about how not to overeat over here. So, of course, I can share some of the factors with you. Actually, there is a lot of factor that contributing to this overeating. As far as I understand, once the MCO has started, some of us already started to work from home, and some of us that cannot work from home, MCO is just equivalent to a lot of free time at home. So what you will do with a lot of free time but limited things to do, you may feel bored. Once you are feel bored, then one of the ways is to resort to eating. And at the same time also, a lot of us also will feel very stressful. For example, like kids, they cannot go out for school, they also cannot go out to meet friends, to play sports. So it will make them really frustrated as well. To a certain extent, some of them may also feel like claustrophobic, which is that term for intense fear in a confined area. So this is not that good lah. And for adult like us, working adult, we are also very anxious because we are very worried about how this pandemic is going to be. What will happen after this? Will it be affecting our work life? Will it be affecting our family, our daily routine? All of this, we are uncertain. Sometimes, as an adult in a family, we also will feel very worried also especially about our food stock. I'm sure that some of you outside there, just before the MCO started, we have done some panic buying. So, with the time goes by, we do not know what will happen to this food. Your food may be getting spoiled or expiry date is coming soon. So what should I do? Finish the food as soon as possible, isn't it? We cannot let it be. So when you think about it, when all these factors come together, it will pushes us towards overeating. So this is how we tend to overeat even if we do not feel like hungry.
Yes, correct. I agree with you. How about giving us some tips about how we can instill better eating habits while we are at home?
Sure. Actually, there is a lot of tips. Today, I will share with you. There are many tips that I will share, which is a simple and very practical to be practiced at home. You may just pick up one or two tips whereby you think which is feasible for you and it is suitable, then you can just practice. So first of all, you can try to plan your meal time, have a proper meal time, and try to stick with it. For your breakfast, for your mid-morning tea, for your lunch, for your afternoon tea, and for your dinner. For example, let's say before your MCO period, you are having your breakfast at 8 a.m. So right now, at MCO, you also try to maintain it as 8 a.m. For your lunchtime, you usually have it 1 to 2 p.m. Right now, you also have it around 1 to 2 p.m. Try not to run away too much from your usual timing. Because if you run away too much, you will have a tendency to skip meals. Once you skip meals, you have a potential over there to overeat in your next meal time, whereby you eat a little bit more compared to your usual meal time. So this one also will cause you to be overeat later on.
Yeah, I think there's also a perception. So I think there's also a perception that if you skip meals, that means you can lose weight because you're not eating as much as you should. What do you think of this? Is it true that, let's say you have breakfast and then you skip lunch and then you just go straight to dinner, or you have breakfast and lunch and then you don't have dinner? Is that okay, or would you not advice?
All right. So actually, we do not encourage people to skip meals because anyhow, once you skip meals, you think that you are eating lesser because you're skipping meals, right? So at
Yeah,
the end, you
correct.
lose weight. But actually, it is not. Depends on people. Certain people, once you skip meal, you will feel much more hungrier in the next meal time. So you tend to eat a
Yeah.
bit more in the next meal. But certain people, you mentioned to me, I skip meal, but I still eat very little on my next meal time. So I should be losing weight, lah, isn't it? But
Right.
in the long run, we need to remember that when you're skipping meal, too little of eating, it also will lower down your metabolism rate. So once your metabolism lower down, the tendency to burn calories also will be lower down. So sometimes you may eating a little bit more, like you go for high calorie food, fast food, then suddenly you will find out that I eating so little. I only go for high calorie food for 1 or 2 times,
Correct.
but suddenly you weight gain. So this is because of the metabolism rate. So we would not encourage to skip meal actually. At least try to have a 3 main meal in a day. Your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner.
Can you give an ideal timing for each of those? Like when is the best time to have breakfast? When is the best time to have lunch? Or when do you eat in between?
Alright. So ideally, if your breakfast, you can 8 to 9 o'clock or 7 to 8, also okay. And then for your lunchtime, you can start it from 12 to 1 or 1 to 2, also no problem. And then for your dinner, you can go for 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. Try to have your dinner before 9 o'clock, which will be ideal.
Can you take snacks in between? Like in
Sure,
between
yes.
your breakfast and lunch or dinner, can you have something light to eat in case you're hungry?
Sure, you can have some light refreshment in between, like your mid morning. You can always have it around 10 to 11 o'clock, and then your afternoon tea time, you also can have it around 3 to 4 o'clock, like that. Yeah, just a light refreshment will be very good.
Okay, that sounds ideal. And during this MCO, other than eating, do you think maybe doing other things, for example, activities, would that be one of the factors of how we can stop ourselves from eating too much? Because if we like just lying down, not really knowing what to do, then of course you tend to open the fridge door, open and close, open and close. So if you've got things to do, you fill your time with, I'm not sure, like activities with the children or something constructive, learn a language or whatever it is that people do to fill their time. Do you think that can help?
Yes, this definitely help. Like what we mentioned before, once you have a proper meal time, you already know what time to have your breakfast, what time to have your lunch, what time to have your dinner. So in between, you already know how many hours which is free for you. So for that, you can plan some interesting activities with your family members. For example, you can go for some cleaning of the household or do some study group with your kids, back up their homework. And also you can read some motivational books with them, or you can even pick up some online courses nowadays. There's a lot of online courses nowadays. I can saw it on the internet, which is free, whereby you can pick it up, try to improve yourself, try to utilize this time as a good opportunity for us to equip ourselves with more knowledge and skills. Hopefully, we can use it one day after this pandemic is over. We might use it in our workplace later on.
Right. I think maybe with some people, while they are doing those activities, like for example, if I were a parent and I'm teaching my kids, but then next to me, I would have like some chocolates or biscuits or cake, So while you are, as opposed to when you are in school, so during, in the classroom, of course, the teacher and the students will not have anything to eat, other than just concentrate on the teaching process lah. But at home, because you can just have food anywhere, even in your bedroom, at the patio or wherever it is. So regardless of what you are doing, whether you are playing games with your family, whether you are teaching your child, there will always be a tendency to have food next to you. And I suppose that's also one of the reasons why you tend to overeat. So how can you discipline yourself so that you don't bring food everywhere you go in the house?
All right. So I can share with you. Maybe you can do some controlling measure in terms of like you fix an area for eating, and
Yeah.
fix some area for not eating. For example, we can do it like eating only at the dining table
Yes.
and do not eat in your bedroom and also do not eat in front of the TV on the sofa. So with this controlling measure, I believe that you can certainly reduce a lot of unnecessary snacking.
Yeah. With the children, it's easier to see than adults. Okay. Anyway, the other question also is about the pace at which you chew your food. Does that make any difference? In order so that you don't eat so much. What if you chew your food slowly? Or that's a question.
Yes, that's definitely. If you can chew your food slowly, that's very good. Try to savor your each mouthful with the food that you hold. Try to taste it with your heart and taste it with slowly and chew. Usually, we will recommend try to chew it as much as possible lah. Then,
Yes.
because you eating slowly can help you to improve your digestion. All the nutrients will be absorbed, and with this, it will also provide you more energy over a longer period. So try to eat it slowly. And because MCO, we have a lot of time, no need to rush everywhere. So try to enjoy your food, savor each mouthful.
Yes, that's very true. That's putting your time to good use. Another thing also, Miss Mayan, how about planning your menu? Is that something that will make a difference as well? Because sometimes, right now especially, a lot of people have suddenly become very good at cooking because there's not much to do, so they experiment with recipes online. So it can be a fun process, but at the same time, all these food that we are serving to our families, some may or may not be good for us. So do you have any advice as to what can we serve our family, or do we plan proper and how we so that it's healthy for everyone?
Yes, actually, that's a good idea from Miss Sakina about planning our menu. I would recommend ladies of the family, sometimes you have give some good idea. You also plan your weekly menu for your family. Try to include some healthy menu or some favorite food for your family and try to stick with it as much as possible. Planning menu actually is very simple. You just have it in your mind and just maybe some of the favorite food that your family member loves to eat, you can just include it in your daily meal. So
Yeah.
in the long run, it will definitely save you a lot of money because when you go for grocery shopping, you will tend to buy necessary item which is not in your menu list.
Yes,
And
yes, correct.
it also will help you to save time as well. Because you
Yeah.
understand that now only the man of the family can go out for grocery shopping. Actually, they face a lot of hard time in choosing what type of fish, what types of vegetables,
Yeah,
how
that's
to
true.
take the right one. Actually, they are unsure. So with the menu and the ingredient list that you already fixed, so why not you can do a revision beforehand with them. Let them identify what types of fish, what types of vegetables, method to pick up the good one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And with that, when the times come for really go for grocery shopping, things will become very easy for them. They will just grab the food and go. So our life will be much more happier and easier, right? Because we
Yeah.
already done some work. Yeah, so do it at home also. Try to fix the menu. Maybe as simple will be good. You can just fix your breakfast, lunch, and your dinner. So in between for the refreshment, you can have it freely and be experiments on the food that you wanted to do. So this
Yeah,
is will be
that's
very
actually that's a very good advice where you can actually, you were saying something about give them revision. As you cook, you can tell the people in your homes, what do you call it? The head of the house.
yeah, yes, correct.
You can tell him as you are cooking, okay, this one is what daun, that one is what ikan and all that, otherwise it's very educational for them. It's putting their time to use too. Okay, Miss Mayan, how about the kind of food that we eat? We've got protein, fiber, and carbohydrates. Any tips from you? How do we choose the proper type of food?
All
So
right.
it's not easy for us to go in and out. We have to wait for the head family and the head of the family and so on and so forth.
All right. So generally, I would recommend try to follow our Malaysia healthy plate, which is a quarter from the carbohydrates, your
Yeah.
rice, your meal, your mihun, another quarter from your protein source, your chicken, your fish, or your meat, and
Yeah.
half of it will be from your vegetables and one serving of fruits. So
Okay.
I can aware that a lot of us actually neglected about vegetables intake. Try to have more vegetables also, as vegetables will improve your digestion because it is a slow digesting carbohydrates. In the long run, it also will help you to provide energy in a sustained release. And foods such as like lentils, chickpeas, or nuts, or beans, or seeds also will be very good choices. Try to include it into your meal. Just put it
What
some.
kind? Okay. What kind of food specifically makes you feel fuller for longer, so that you're not always reaching out? At least you feel, a little bit young, so you don't have to go think about
All
food.
right. About food. Specifically, which is a high fiber food, mostly come from vegetables and fruits and nuts and legumes as well. So when you cook, for example, for your lunch, try to
Yeah.
include more vegetables. Try to pick up like two or more types of vegetables. Any types of
Okay.
vegetables we do actually. Because today we are for the all the general healthy population outside, any types of vegetables we do, unless you have any specific condition like gout or any other condition, then we need to
Yes.
check it out later on.
Right.
So try to.
Okay. This is a bad time for anybody to be coming to my house, but apparently that's the case. Sorry, but anyway, I will just ignore it. Okay, maybe you can tell us. See, because bulan puasa, the fasting month, Ramadan is just around the corner. I think it's on a Friday. So, because of this, is there any tip that you can share with us as to how we can eat healthy, but then fast, a disciplined fast? And not just Muslims, I think even non-Muslims and Muslims are doing intermittent fasting right now. So do you have any dietary or something to do with nutrition?
Yeah, sure. Can as I understand, fasting month is coming in this
Yeah,
Friday. So certainly I can share with you some of the tips also. So
yeah, that
first
would be
of
great.
all, during your berbuka, maybe you can start it with 2 pieces of kurma and 1 glass
Okay.
of plain water first, just for your
Yes.
body to kickstart. Because after one whole day of fasting, your body
Mm-hmm.
actually is very tired and looking for
Right.
food.
Yes.
So started with 2 pieces of kurma and a glass of water just to kickstart. And then after that, when you go for your solat maghrib, after that you can continue with your dinner and try to include more vegetables inside as well because we know that vegetables can help you for a sustained energy release and give you more fullness over a longer period. So during the whole fasting month, try to limit intake of like fried food, oily food, high sugary beverages, because all these foods containing very high in calorie content. If you're taking it in a regularly basis or once or daily basis, you will see that later on, after 1 month later, there will be gain weight. Suddenly your tummy, why my tummy is a little bit larger? My waist is very tight.
Yeah.
My pants is very tight. And last but not least, I also hope that maybe you can try to drink as much water. Try to rehydrate yourself during your berbuka time, at least 8 glasses of water, so that maintain a better hydration status. This is very
Yeah.
important because we can help to maintain your immunity and also maintain a good health body.
I see. Thank you very much, Miss Mayen. That was very, very informative. That's very good content. That was Miss Tin Mayen, our dietitian from Columbia Asia Hospital Klang. If you have any questions for Miss Mayen regarding dietary habits during MCO or just generally dietary habits itself, you can leave a comment in the comment section below, and then we will answer your questions right away. Please do take the opportunity to do so. Or you can also ask about healthy eating tips, Ramadan and whatnot. She's a dietitian and she's here to help us. Let's see. Any questions? Okay, pretty quiet up there. Oh, here we go. Miss Siti Akila Shahid, what is the meal that is considered normal and healthy meal?
All right. So maybe a lot of us wanted to know whether
Yeah.
my meal like this, is it normal? Is it healthy? Is it very high in fats or very oily or not good at all? So
Yeah.
in a rule of thumb, we just remember to follow the Malaysia healthy plate, whereby in Malay we call it suku separuh. So
Oh yeah.
yes, so quarter from your carbohydrates intake, your rice, your mee, your mihun, another quarter
Mm.
from your meat, protein sources, your chicken, your fish, your meat, or beans, and then another half of your plate will be from your vegetables intake, any types of vegetables. For this part,
Yeah.
vegetables intake, try to have 2 or more types of vegetables inside. Then,
Okay.
after all, you can have 1 serving of fruits as well.
All
Then,
right.
this is your normal meal.
Okay. All right. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, I have a question actually. You know, sometimes when I'm eating with my children and my children don't finish whatever it is that's on their plate, and I have to finish it for them. It's always a parent's job, supposedly, to finish the children's meals if they cannot finish it. And this is also one of the reasons, I guess, how we tend to overeat. Do you have any tips so that it's a win-win on both sides, lah, so that your children don't waste food, that at the same time we don't have to eat extra because we already have whatever is on our plate. So what do you have to say about that?
All right. I would recommend that before you cook, you try to estimate the portion first. For example, you estimate your portion, how much ingredient you want to put, because you know
Yeah.
already if this you are cooking your favorite food for your family, definitely they will be cooking a lot. Then won't be any leftover if it is their favorite food. So if it is not that day, it's just a normal menu or just usual, then you need to estimate your portion. Estimate it before you cook, and once you cook it, then try to finish it as much as possible lah. Then if come across really cannot finish it, then on the next meal time, we need to take note. Try not to cook too much, because usually we won't encourage people to take a lot of leftover food. Yeah. So over here we need to estimate.
And also, another thing is about shopping habits. I mean, not everybody has the luxury of going out to get things, and maybe times are tough now. And we all are aware that economy is not going to be wonderful at this time. So, because of that, what are the things that you have to have in every house? Because to some people, maybe having apples, that's a luxury. Having cheese is a luxury. So, what are the things that you must have without bursting your budget? Or in other words, if I need to watch my budget, if I'm not getting as much as I used to in terms of income, what are the things that I must have at home that is healthy but at the same time necessary?
And so we go for healthy food and also control your budget, right? So
Yeah,
I would
right.
suggest
No budget, because sometimes you see on social media, but then you realize that not everybody has that kind of life. Because some people are making cakes or roast chicken and whatnot, but for a lot of people, it's actually quite a tough time. So, what are the staples? What are the things that you
so. First of all, we must have our staple food, which is our
Yeah.
rice at home. Yes, that is a must. And then other than that, you can always go for like your chicken or your fish, up to you. Some people they will have more seafood, but if you have your chicken or your fish, I think that should be fine. Or if really cannot, then also you can go for some eggs or beans, which is also part of the protein sources, or tofu or fusho. This is also part of the protein sources. And for vegetable wise, a lot of vegetables actually is very good, whereby not necessarily you need to go for like an expensive one. Then you also can go for the normal one, the a bit cheaper in price, whereby you can eat it in more time. So any type of vegetables, so we do not specifically which vegetables which is good.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
fruit wise, you can always go for like our local fruits like banana, watermelon, honeydew, which is a larger in size, that maybe you can keep it for a few times, then I think it will be save some cost over there. Yeah, apart from apple and orange, but depends on person. Depends on person. Because about eating is very depending on individual taste and individual lifestyle. So depends on you. And most importantly, we need to budget it out. And again, we back to the estimation. Do not overcook or overestimate, because once we over, there will be a lot of leftover.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's very practical. Okay. Miss Shu Ping is asking, can we just have brunch instead of breakfast and lunch?
Yeah, that's a good question. As we understand nowadays, brunch is our very trending eating lifestyle right now. So it will be good if we have our separate meal time, breakfast and lunch. Because why? When we have our separate meal time, actually we are eating 2 times, isn't it? So when we are eating 2 times, the meal portion will be smaller. So from there we can control your calorie intake. We won't run away too much from your daily calorie intake.
Right.
But you come across for brunch, 2 in 1, correct or not? 2 in 1. So maybe you will tend for, maybe you will go for high calorie food all in one time. Then this you need to take notes lah. Because later on after brunch, you will have your dinner. And we do not know, sometimes we will have our snack, our supper at the late night also. So this we need to take notes also.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about snacks as well. Can you recommend some healthy snacks instead of sweet, high sugar, trans fat kind of snacks?
Yeah, sure. In the market, actually, we have a lot of healthy snacks. Some simple healthy snacks whereby you can make from your own, like sandwiches or tuna sandwiches or sardine sandwiches. Just make sure to put more salad leaf or vegetables inside. And you also can go for yogurt. Put some fruits inside to make a fruit yogurt, fruit salads, or some steamed corn or steamed bun or steamed pao, which is also very good. Or a bowl of cereals or muesli, also very good. So all these actually is a very healthy choice as compared to our fried food as usual. So try to do some changes also. You can also take some fruits also as a snack.
Okay. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I think, oh yes, there is a question. Ms. Janice Hickman, I'm eating below my usual calorie intake, such as below 1,800 calories per day, but I have gained weight. Why is this so?
All right. So for Miss Janice, good afternoon for you. So usually for ladies like us, 1,800 calorie is quite a lot for you. Usually you should eat around 1,500 or 1,200. But depends on person, because I'm not sure what are your activities. Maybe you are an athlete or maybe you are just a normal working lady. We are not sure. But what you mean is, if I'm eating below calorie but still I gain weight. So this one we need to take note. Maybe you are taking small portion but high calorie. For example, you are taking fried chicken, but 2-3 pieces fried chicken. We already know that fried chicken, 1 piece is already like 500 calories. So if you are taking 2 to 3 pieces, not that much, isn't it? Because it's only 2 to 3 pieces. But if you're taking 2 or 3 pieces, 500 times 3 is already 1,500 calories. So maybe from there, we need to take notes. Some certain food, they contain very high in calorie, but it is hidden inside. We need to identify them.
Yeah, you're saying that two or 3 pieces of chicken, and that's only like one meal.
Correct.
Okay, there is another question by Miss C.S. Lee Jane. Should fruits be eaten before or after meal?
All right. Good afternoon to Miss Lee. So this question actually, we would say different person will have different modification for that. Okay. Generally, if you are a healthy person with normal blood sugar, you are a healthy person, I would recommend you can eat your fruit first before your meal, your main meal, because when you eat your fruits, then your stomach will be half full, and when you go for your main meal, you can control your calorie intake by having a smaller meal time, by having a smaller portion. But if today you are a diabetic patient, then we need to be aware. If you are a diabetic patient, we will encourage you, you can take your main meal first, but remember your main meal must follow the suku-suku separuh, the quarter, quarter and half portion, that one, our Malaysian healthy plate. And then followed by one serving of fruits. Because why? Once you have your main meal, remember we have vegetables, which act as a fiber. It can help you to slow down your spike of the blood sugar. And once you have your main meal, you will have your vegetables, your rice inside, maybe your chicken, and then followed by your fruits. Then with that, we can help to slow down your spike of blood sugar. So from there, we can control. But generally, for healthy population, actually it doesn't matter whereby you want to take it before your meal or after your meal. But if today you want to have a weight loss, then I will recommend you before your main meal.
Okay. Okay, let's see if there are any questions. Oh, okay. Miss Hidayah Sama. I understand nowadays people tend to stay late night watching movies and they like to munch something. And eating late night is also not a good habit. Can you share what are the simple and healthy food that we can eat during late nights?
Late night. All right. So as we just mentioned before, you can always have some simple refreshment like muesli with some low-fat meal or cereal with some low-fat meal, or you can also make some sandwiches for you, or having some fruits also can for your munching during your movie marathon. So this is some of the healthy food choices lah. Try not to go for like high calorie food like roti canai, a burger, or fried meat in the late night, which is really high in calorie. So we need to take note on that also.
So my mic is muted at the end. It's kind of hard to sleep if your phone. If you sleep with the phone, it's kind of hard to sleep. That can, I don't know. It can cause maybe that's a connection problem here. Okay, it's okay. Since there are no more questions, we can wrap up. Andra Han, what should I do to lose inches on my tummy while staying at home during these days?
All right. Good afternoon for Sandra Han too. So in order to lose inches in your tummy, most importantly, apart from controlling your calorie, you need to do some workout exercise. And some exercise I would personally recommend, like you can go for some Tabata exercise or HIIT training, high intensity interval training.
Yes.
Or you can even focus more on your tummy part, which is do some sit up or push up or some plank also, which is a simple exercise whereby you can do it at home.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Wow, okay, we've got a long question here. It's by Miss Josephine Siu. Good afternoon, Miss Tin and Miss Akina. Firstly, hi, good afternoon, Josephine. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Columbia Asia for these live sessions. Very informative. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Columbia Asia says you're welcome. My question to Miss Tin is this: with MCO, many choose to order food via delivery. And if you can see from the menu available, they usually do not follow the healthy plating. What is your advice on this?
All right. Very good afternoon to me also. So we all go through food delivery, right? So as far as I can observe is, once you order from food delivery, obviously their carbohydrate is enough, more than enough, and then their protein source also more than enough. But one thing which is not enough is the vegetable part. So why not? You can make some simple vegetables, regardless of any vegetables, but I can recommend like you can have another bowl of salad with a mixture of tomato, cucumbers, or salad leaf. Just top up onto your delivery, onto your mealtime, which is very good. And sometimes you may also have some fruits also along with it in order to make your meal much more healthier. And for some of us may feel that sometimes food delivery, their portion is quite big for us also. I would also recommend that maybe we can share within our family. we try not to order like single to single, but order one set, but we share for two person. So with that, we also can control your calorie, but at the same time, you add on more vegetables, so make it much more healthier as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Ms. Didi from Ibrahim is asking, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ms. Didi. Most people are trying to reduce weight during Ramadan. Can you advise or recommend what type of foods during berbuka? And another question is, can we skip sahur to give extra effort to lose weight?
All right. Good afternoon to you, sir. Very good afternoon to you first. Then, first of all, during berbuka, I would recommend you can take 2 pieces of date first and 1 glasses of plain water, just for you to kickstart your body after a whole day of fasting, because your body actually is looking for sugar and foods because they are fasting. Then after your Salat Maghrib, you can continue with your dinner, but remember to have more vegetables inside. Reduce all the fried food, oily food, but have more vegetables, and you can go as usual. Well, and there's one more question you are asking: can we skip our sahur in order to lose more weight? And my answer is no. You cannot skip your sahur because maybe you are working at the same time. You need energy to kickstart your day. You are still working and you still need to do your daily activities. We are not recommend you to skip your sahur. Try to take your sahur, but we follow our Malaysia healthy plate as well. Suku-suku separuh, and just drink more plain water just before your imsak time.
Okay. From a health point of view, what do you think if you have your sahur and then you sleep? I mean, sometimes people have very light sahur, like a date or cereal, but some people will actually have a meal and then after that they go back to sleep. Would you recommend that, or would you suggest people to just stay awake?
All right. So it is depend on individual choices. Of course, we hope that everyone, even during fasting month, we also hope that you stay active. Sometimes you may not go for exercise, but also be much more active, like do more physical activities, just to stay active. If your aim wanted to lose weight, but if you are not planning to lose any weight, then it's just up to you. But still the same, we still encourage you to stay active at all the time.
No, I think the question was about whether you can go back to sleep after you have your sahur. Because when you have your sahur, sometimes you tend to eat heavy. Like in some households, they actually have a meal with rice and all the everything like a proper meal. Then after that, they go back to sleep. Is that safe?
Not that recommended, but so far we do not have any scientific evidence to prove that after you eat you cannot go for sleep. So we cannot say that you cannot do that. But of course, we will hope that you'll be active, because once you eat, then you need to be active in order to digest all the food
I
and
see.
have a proper nutrient absorption. So try to be active.
Okay, all right. I believe we have a question just now. Let's just wait for the question to pop up. Okay, Miss Linda Kemi is asking, kids tend to become picky eaters during MCO period and overeat at the same time. Do you have any tips to overcome this problem among children?
All right. So for a picky eater, there is a lot of factor contributing to picky eater. Then we need to identify what are the causes. Then they are picky eater, maybe in terms of the food, the texture, the color, the different types of food, or the meal time itself. Then all of these factors we need to take account. So maybe if can, after MCO, we would like to, maybe you can come to meet us, our dietitian. Every one of us also can, dietitian. Then we can discuss on this, will be much more better, because it is very a long journey to go to solve this.
Yeah. Okay. We've got a question from Mr. Frederick Tay. Is it possible that I take a few meals in a day, but I only eat less in every meal?
Yeah. So what Mr. Frederick mentioned is you are having a small and frequent meal time, right? You're having a small portion, but frequent in a meal in a day. So actually, this is good. You can just maintain your current meal pattern which is taking small portion, but in a regular meal time. But still, remember, we need to follow our healthy Malaysia healthy plate. Doesn't mean that if you are taking small portion, but each time maybe you are taking high calorie food like fried chicken or fried kueh or high sugary food, desserts, but still very small portion, but we having frequently, so it's not as good also. So the food itself, we also need to take notes. Yeah, the practice is okay, but the food we need to check it out.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, I think we can take one last question if there is any. If not, we can wrap this up. And if you have any other questions after this, maybe you can just leave it in your in the comment section, and then we will address it a bit later. Thank you so much, Christine Mayen. That was a very interesting topic, and it was very productive, I should say. We had a lot of feedback also from others. Hopefully, Miss Tin had answered all your questions. And we'll see you again, inshallah. Goodbye, Miss Tin Mayan, dietitian from Columbia Hospital, Klang.